Second time recording this since I lost most of my PC data on Tuesday, but it doesn't matter. We move. But I suppose that at least means I have a revised script. And a new and improved, incredibly legally obtained version of Premiere Pro, so hopefully that will help. But I digress. This video serves as a bit of a companion piece to my previous video on Artorias, in which I explained why I considered Artorias to be pretty overrated, and in that I mentioned several times that I liked Manus, Father of the Abyss, way more, and considered him to be the best boss of the DLC. But I see a lot of people online that actually don't like him, and in this video I just wanted to explain a bit why I do like him. Now, Manus and Artorias have quite intertwined lore, and it's pretty hard to tell the story of one without at least referencing the other. I do think Manus is a bit more an interesting character though. Manus is described as the primeval man by Marvelous Chester, I want to say. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's Marvelous Chester, which means first recorded, and this led to some speculating that he's the furtive pygmy mentioned in the intro of Dark Souls 1. I personally don't believe this due to the seclusion of pygmies to the Ring City and the fact that the pygmy is primordial and not primeval, although to be fair it's also entirely possible to be both. But I do think it's an interesting theory. But basically, Manus was a guy from ages ago who was good at sorcery and had a pendant he loved, but he died and left his pendant behind. At some point after his death, his pendant was taken, presumably by the royal family of Ulysses, and later after that, the primordial serpent Darkstalker Kath convinced the sorcerers of Ulysses to revive Manus for whatever reason. Probably just felt like being a bastard. Well, actually no, he bridged it to spread the dark, but it's funny to say that he felt like a bastard. And they likely agreed to a desire for more knowledge of sorcery. Manus woke up without his prized possession and a bit off his nut. He got mad and spread the abyss throughout Ulysses and killed many citizens and turned the rest to crazy abyssal boatheads. He also kidnapped the princess of Ulysses Dusk and dragged several people back in time, like the Chosen Undead and Marvelous Chester. Gwyn did not like the darkness and sent his pet fraud Artorias to go deal with it due to his covenant with the Abyss. He went with his dog for some stupid reason. Fact, Artorias was trying to get Sif killed to make people feel bad for him, and got the shit kicked out of him by Manus. He then abandoned his dog in the chasm and tried to run away like Usopp, but thankfully his cowardice was brought to a permanent end by the Abyss eventually taking over, as he was in the Ulysses Coliseum in an attempt to kill his much more successful co-worker, Hawkeye Goth. Artorias then took out his frustration on his own allies by killing a boathead, and then was thankfully executed for his crimes by the Chosen Undead, who then continued through Ulysses and put Manus out of his misery while freeing, or killing, Dusk. After his death, Manus' pendant eventually came into possession of Seath the Scaleless, and Dusk is captured by one of his crystal golems. After finding the pendant in the Duke's archives, the Chosen Undead can get dragged back in time and make his way into Ulysses, entering the Colosseum to put to a permanent end the reign of terror of Artorias. Wait. Is fraud power stuck us in a time loop? And while I am on record in the past saying that Artorias is carried by Hightmoon Sonora, honestly, I think Manus does that better too. Manus has a great cutscene. He pulls you in the same way he did when he first drags you into the DLC, and while initially you can't see shit, you see him coming later and you can feel his aura through the screen. The camera shakes as he moves, his footsteps are loud as fuck, and even if you don't know shit about the lore, you can tell that this guy is the big fucking bad. And in the fight itself, this awesome presentation stays. If you're at an extreme distance and you can't see his main body, you can still see the red eyes. This shows you that you're never safe from a long ranged swing or leap or a spell, and you're always being watched. And as an actual boss fight, I think he's amazing. He is fast as fuck. As I've said before, I think Dark Souls 1 has sort of a cap in boss quality due to the movement speed of both the bosses and the player. But Manus pushes this to the limit, and I think he's the fastest you can make a boss in this game without it being like a bit questionable, but he's still very fair. You have good healing windows and punish windows, and he has enough HP, the most of any boss in the game, to make the fight with him last long enough to a challenge, unlike a lot of other DS1 bosses. And fighting him at level 1 was fucking crazy. Some of genuinely the sweatiest my palms would have been. I remember not even properly recording the first chunk of the fight, and having to like check midway through, realise I didn't have OBS open, get it open, record it, and survive Manus attacks at the same time. Footage is gone though, but whatever. But he hits hard. He has a wide variety of strikes at close, mid and long range, as well as his awesome pseudo grab combo. And his long range strikes mean you can't just carelessly like heal at range and he can't get you. Even as a tail sweeps, he can't just hug his arse. At 60% though, he gets 3 spells, being the first 1v1 boss with a defined second phase. And I see a lot of hate towards these, but I think they're fine. Good, even. You can counter all of them by using the silver pendant item in your hotbar if you find it, but I always felt the time was a bit iffy on that, so I usually don't. The Dark Rain is fine, and as long as you stay moving you can get a free healer punish, but if you do get caught you can die really quickly. It's definitely not bullshit though, that'll always be on you if you get hit. I think his Dark Bead is overhated since it is pretty easy to dodge as long as you're light rolling or flipping, but I really can't play DS1 without those, so it's not an issue for me. Again, if it catches you, especially if you're in the centre, I can kill you instantly basically. But again, it's not too bad to dodge. And the attack I used to not like was the Dark Ring, but when I realised like every move is a separate tail, for the Dark Ring he slams down, for the Dark Hail he rides his staff up, and for his Dark Bead he brings his staff in from the side. Like, you should be able to tell that you need to get close to him for that attack, or dodge to the side for the bead, or run away for the hail. I think it's very choreographed. Like, the main way to dodge that attack is just to run next to him and get a free whack or heal. And like, even if you have pretty shit positioning, you'd still be able to get to him before it hits you. For anyone that's curious, here's my Dark Souls 1 tier list. I mean, there are some very glaring hot takes here that I'll probably make videos on in the future. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? I've got Captain Demon and B tier. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see that? Oh my god, he just said Capra Demon was God tier and Gale and Owl Father were F tier. Someone stop him. Well, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, etc. But I do have some really annoying news. My PC was sort of wiped on Tuesday, and not only are all of the videos I had in my boss fights nailed round gone, so are all my save files. So this, for one, means that I've lost access to files with a bunch of fucking nostalgic stuff. First of a playthrough, first DLC run, first every boss run character. And while less nostalgic, my SL1 character I was at Godfrey on. Not Goldfrey, Godfrey. Godfrey. Fuck up, man. And 2, the Elden Ring every boss rank video is indefinitely postponed. It's not only would need to beat the entire game and DLC, rewrite the script, record it, and edit it in less than a month, I just don't really have the will to start back out in Limgrave again. I will still try and do some form of long video in December, but it will not be an Elden Ring one. Thankfully my data remains on the other Souls games, so I can do something for Night Rain when the Forsaken Hollows comes out, and I still have level 1 files for Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1. It's annoying, but I'll do something about it. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, share, bye!